Guys, I'm making another quick video here, and I might actually go for a drive on the Murray. We'll see if I can get the tire to hold there. And I'm standing in a great big pool of oil. Yeah, that's off the Murray again. So what I'm looking at in front of me is my Polaris snowmobile, which I think I'm gonna sell. So anybody in Nova Scotia want to buy a nice snowmobile that nothing's wrong with. Mint shape for an 03, but no, we don't get enough snow, and to put gas in this stupid thing just cost me a fortune. It's like more than driving a car, so I really am not that crazy about it. I'd rather have wheels on the ground, to be honest. So anyway, there's the Murray, and it's actually looking half decent, but if you happen to watch my videos out there of on the lake with it this winter, she gained some cancer. Yeah, look at that, all spotty. Rust starting there and there and there and just all over it. So that's not good, don't look very good. Gonna have to sand it down a little bit and paint the front of it, I guess. Luckily, I didn't see any on the red. Now, I'd like to do something really interesting with this. I would like to wash it down, soap and water, really good, everywheres. And I'd like to touch up the black paint with my spray gun. And then I'd like to I got this stuff over here, Meguiar's rubbing compound. And I want to just go over the whole thing and just shine it all up and see how good we can make it look. I think this paint would come right out and shine. I really do, because it used to be really shiny, but a lot of mud, a lot of water, a lot of crap is sure taking its toll. Other things that I noticed is I think it's rusting again under this battery, so I should look at that. And the most prominent problem, well, actually there's about 3 of them. The motor's knocking, the rear end's leaking terribly, but I find it's leaking, and it's leaking on this side. So the seals are bad, which is what it is. I can't seem to find any. But my biggest concern, or the biggest reason for that, is probably because the tire's flat. So it's sort of leaning, and the oil's all going and pooling on that axle seal, which obviously is not A1, and it's just letting it all go, as you can clearly see. So I'm thinking maybe going for a drive later with it, maybe. I don't know. I got so much stuff that I got to do. So many things on the go. Between work, projects, like my car needs painted, my truck needs painted, being the Dodge, it needs a bunch of work done to it. So there's that. And then I got a new boat out there. It needs painted and done up. The 4-wheeler there's got some bad bearing issues that I got to deal with in the drivetrain. Also, it's knocking, which isn't good. So I'm waiting for the motor to go in the 300 there too at some point. My trailer needs painted, and it's got lights there that I got to put on. I don't know, I just got endless oh yeah, I got a Ranger project too, that's right. I got a half a Ranger sitting up there at my mom's that needs to be all tore down. And, you know, sand it, primed, painted, everything gone over on it. I just don't have time. I have 2 days in the weekend, and I get about half an hour, well, I get about 3 hours of work, or not even work. Like, I mean, I like it as projects, but I get about 3 hours to work on them. So after work, I'm always too tired, and I don't have time. Trying to get my schooling done, and I can't even do that. So life sucks. But anyway, with the Murray here, I'm gonna focus on that for today, or for right now. I've got to get this tire back off. This is actually one that I fixed once already, and it's leaking. And I'm assuming when I put the tire back together, I popped the tube. So what I got to do is I got to get this off the bead, and then I'm going to take it up to my neighbor's, and I think he's got some patches up there. So we'll see if we can patch the tube in it, maybe. Burp. I'm gonna learn you a little trick with the old bumper jack. Now, normally I do this under a truck You go to a Reese's hitch on a truck, and then you put your jack under that and onto your tire, and you can pop them right off the rim. I did 4 truck tires with it like that, so it's not necessarily the easiest way, but it is definitely cheap. Well, found out why it leaks. Alright, so here's why she leaks. I literally just pushed it a little bit and it started ripping, and it ripped right off, so junk. Alright, so I just went and I grabbed another tire here and I pulled the tube out of it, and it looks good, right? It holds there. She is so close to ripping, it's not even funny. I think if I went like this, I could probably snap it right off. So now I need a tube for this, and I thought I'd have one, but apparently I don't. All right, I've gone through like 3 different tires, and I ended up getting a good tube in here now, as long as I didn't poke it. So we're gonna find out right now. Come on. Oh, we're on. All right. There we go. Get her thrown on there and we'll see how she goes. All right, so your first step is definitely prep, which sucks and I absolutely hate it. But it's quite important to get everything that you don't want to be black taped off, which I do. So now I'm gonna take the sandpaper and I'm just gonna go around and I'm gonna smooth off all these little spots here where I can feel that it's rough and rust has started. And then I'm gonna wipe her all down. All right, I'm all sanded down. Now my next step is to lay the sandpaper up, and I like to spray it off with the air hose. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna blow it all off and get everything all off, and then any tape or whatever that peels I will touch up. And then I'm gonna take a damp cloth with damped with gasoline or thinner or something like that. And there's many other things that work that are probably better than my choice, but I just have it sitting around, so I'm gonna use that. And then once it's all nice and cleaned up, I will start to mix paint and spray. Because I had a video where somebody asked me what I use for painting. And what I use is a pressure pot, nothing special. And then I mix the paint. Depending on what I'm doing, I might just eyeball it and just sort of do it to what I think. But if it's like on a car or something, I had a ratio that I was using, which I'd be using a ratio, but just for this, I'm just gonna mix it up by hand and just mix up a little bit so that I can touch up all this stuff. And I definitely do not like spray paint. Depending on situation, sometimes it's okay, but if you want it to last and you want it to look good, it's not the way to go in most cases. So at least on this stuff, maybe, you know, use Perfect Match on your car and then put a nice clear coat over it, then it's fine. But for this, I want a good quality black coating for paint that's not going to come right off immediately. So I'm gonna start cleaning this up here a little bit and washing it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm at the point for paint, and most of pour paint jobs start on the mixing bench, they say. So you gotta be careful and you gotta make sure you mix it up right. So what I do is I take my pot, set it there, my paint, shake her all up. Or stir it, generally both. And then if I was to be painting a car panel, I've been adding a secret ingredient, and it's called hardener. And I've just started doing that, and I actually did it for my paint job on my Ford there. And it turned out really well. And it almost looks like a clear coat. It's nice and shiny, and it looks really good. And it's actually quite durable, so I do recommend that. But on a lawnmower, don't matter. I probably should, but that stuff's expensive, so I'm not going to bother using any on this particular project. I'm going to stick with just the paint and the thinner. So you get your nice can of paint, real good stuff, trim clad, cheapest stuff you can get, but it's good. So pour some in there. We'll say that much, should be lots. Only have a few little spots I gotta touch. I'm gonna touch the wheels, around the dash a little bit, and the motor, and the front of it obviously. And that's probably about it. Nothing crazy, but and that's why a lot of people don't like this, and I personally agree, because this takes a lot of mixing and a lot of time, whereas you can buy a spray bomb for $5 at your local Walmart and you're good to go. But you will get a lot better results as far as durability and how long it lasts with trim clad or any other paint that you're thinning, as long as it's half decent stuff. So seal your can up, because this stuff will dry out really quickly. So here's how much I got. I got maybe, I don't know, I'm going to say like a ½ inch of paint in the bottom of this. And now I'm going to take the thinner, which I'm just using lacquer thinner. Pour a little bit in there. And grab your stir stick. Start stirring. Now I think there's a rule, and I know there is a rule, as something a little bit more specific than what I'm going to probably do here, because I have a hard time to remember stuff sometimes. So I think you're supposed to pull it out, and if it drops in like 3 seconds, or if all the paint runs off in like 3 seconds or 5 seconds, I think it's 5 seconds, then it's a good mix. It's mixed to a good ratio for your gun. Now these guns can spray quite thick of paint, so as long as you get her quite thin. See, that's a little bit too thick. I don't know if you can see that, but I pulled it up and I let it run, and it just like it was like a string still. So I need a little bit more thinner. Put a little bit more in there. Stir. Stir, 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 stir. If you get it too thin, it's okay, but it takes a lot more passes to cover an area, so I like it thicker. And I like a good thick coat over thin. So there it is, mixed up there. All right, let's see. Well, let's try the 5-second thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's pretty close. For this project, that is going to be just fine. So first of all, when you're doing this, you want to set your air compressor down to like 50 psi. Anyways, you're looking for, I'll show you actually because it's on the wall here. You want the width of your spray to be about that. When you go like that, you want it to be about that long. And you want it to be fairly thick. You don't want it too flaky, like too thin. So if you can get something like that, you're looking pretty good.